Okay, now I'm going to show B4XIDEViewer in action. This is just a program, as you can see, and there's nothing particular about it. Basically, it's an X custom list view in horizontal mode, where I've also implemented lazy loading, because as we can see, we can load a lot of images here, and it works very nice. You can scroll without any problems. And basically the communication between the B4A and the device and the B4XIDEViewer is done using network async streams, and the data is serialized using B4X serializer. So, without any further ado, let's open up B4A. Here it is, where I prepared a sample project. I've already added to the project some images, a PDF file, a video, and then I've also enabled the B4XIDEViewer library, which is specific for B4A. Then what I've done, I've declared the B4A ID library. I set up some bitmaps, and then we are loading some images from the assets folder, and which we are assigning to the bitmaps. Then we initialize the B4X ID library, and basically what we're doing, we're indicating the calling module, the event name, the IP address of the computer where B4XIDEViewer is running, and then we give a port number. We connect, and then I put in some statements here. This is one of the methods you can use, which is called log image. And what this will do is basically to transfer the bitmap over to the B4XIDEViewer and show it here. Let's put this in always on top, so it remains always visible. So I'm going to put some breakpoints here in the code, so we can execute some statements one after another. Okay, that should do it. Let me clean the project and then launch it. Let's wait for it to compile and let it install on my device. Okay, so we come to the first breakpoint. So what I will simply do here is just debug this application. So I will step over, and as you can see, we now sent the bitmap which we had assigned to, we now sent over to B4XIDEViewer the bitmap which was assigned here, and we did that using this command log image. So let's continue, and as you see, they all appear here. In B4XIDEViewer we can enlarge the picture a bit. We can remove a picture from the list here, and there are some other things such as you can flip an image horizontally, or you can rotate it, whatever. Now, just to show you the speed of this, let me just get rid of these images here. We can clear them, so it's free. Now I'm going to launch, create, to send randomly 100 images to the B4XIDEViewer, and you can see it's quite speedy. So it's sending all images, and it's already finished. So we have them all here, and as you can see, we can scroll very easily, and I believe this is thanks to the lazy loading. Okay, so in this case we were viewing images, but we can also have videos. So as you can see, a video was sent over, and in this case we have a specific video viewer and audio player. Very simple, but for my purposes it's perfect. The same goes with audio files. So this is just an MP3 file which is being played, nothing in particular. Now we're going to open the stream instead. So what will happen here is that we're sending over the link, and B4XIDEViewer will open it on the computer. So let's see. So in this case we sent the link, and B4XIDEViewer is showing the stream. Here I'm sending over a GIF image, and as you see we have it here, the banana which is dancing. We can also send, for instance, files. In this case I have a PDF file. So we receive a message here that a new file was received and was saved in the data folder. So we can open the file. And this is the PDF file. In this case, I close it, and I don't want to keep the file. We can also load a saved image, nothing in particular, and as you see, it's here, which were loaded. Okay, now I'm gonna enable. We can download images also from the internet. In this case, I need to enable the OK HTTP utils library. And we can now run this part here. In the meantime, let me just disable these files here, this statement, so we don't execute them again. Okay, so now it should run. Stop here and run download images. And I also added the clear all images. What this will do, it was clear all images we have here in the B4XIDEViewer. We could of course do it here as well. So let's launch it. Installing the file. And let's launch it. So what this code did, it downloads some images from Flickr, and it's actually based on an example which Errol wrote on the forum. So we get the images, and then we log the image here, and we send it over to B4XIDEViewer, and as you can see, we received some images here. This could also be quite useful. Now enable this one. What I'm going to do here instead is that we're going to download a book from the Gutenberg site, and then we're going to show it in a text viewer. So let me show you that. So let's go. And as you can see here, we now have a text viewer, and it loaded the whole book. This wouldn't of course be possible if we made a log directly in the ID, because it's limited to 40,000 characters, I think. I don't know how many characters there are here, but I think it wouldn't be there. But in addition, you can search. And we found 70 matches of the word quick, and you can move in between. You always have the position here. And it could be useful if you download the source of a web page and you maybe need to analyze it. But of course you can also save this file here if you want and open it up in a notepad or something like that, whatever you prefer. Okay, that's it. Finally, as I mentioned, there is also another library specific for B4A, which we're using with OpenCV. So what I'm going to do now, if I can find it here, let me see. I'm going to take away this one, B4XIDEViewer, and I'm going to load this library, which is the same library, but it just has two more methods, which is specific for OpenCV. And why it's a separate library is because it depends on another library, which is the OpenCV wrapper, which was written by Jordi. And in this case, we also need decorations here. Let me see. And I've written some code here. This should all be working now. So let me just clean the project since we changed the library. So what's happening here is that we have input images, which I'm logging here, and then we have an output image, which is actually a matrix image from OpenCV, which is converted into a bitmap automatically, and then it's sent over to B4XIDEViewer. So let's see how this works. So let's run it. The OpenCV library is rather big, so it maybe takes some more time to load this project and compile it. Okay, so here we are. And this is the base images we used. And now it has been processed, and we get an OpenCV matrix image here. So I guess this is it. This is just to show you some how the B4XIDEViewer can be useful for you.